Hello, I'm Toycat, and if you want to start your Minecraft survival journey in the Nether after 1.16, you have three choices. One is to use the set block command, but of course this is a command so counts as cheating, which not all survival players are happy with. The second option is just to get yourself an iron bucket or a diamond pickaxe and to make or to mine the obsidian yourself, but obviously this requires spending some time surviving in the overworld, so it's not really starting in the Nether. Your third choice is to hope that the brand new 1.16 feature, the ruin portal, is somewhere near your spawn location when you load up a world, but this is actually very unlikely because they did nerf this in a recent snapshot. So if you would like to spawn and go immediately to the Nether, you have very few options, one of which is to use this seed right here, because if you type in this series of numbers and you create a world, then you'll find that staggeringly enough, your spawn will be literally next to, or in some cases inside of, a Nether portal. It is a wild place to spawn, and it requires just a couple bits of obsidian to finish off this portal, but you literally spawn into the Nether, or at least having direct access to the Nether, something which very few players can say. So today's Seed Sunday is going to be particularly interesting because it's not going to be focusing on the overworld part of the seed, the thing that most people are usually focused on, but instead it's a 1.16 seed which is entirely going to be focused here in the Nether, because you don't have to spend any time you don't want to in the overworld, because not only do you get a free gold block here, not only do you get most of a portal, but there's a decent chance that you can spawn with enough obsidian and sometimes even the flint, steel and the pickaxes etc you're going to need for the thing to make yourself a finished portal, because again, free obsidian, super handy, allows you to not only place the last block here, but also mine these two blocks and replace them as well. And now you are just one bit of fire away from going into the Nether, one bit of fire which by the way you can find in these exact same chests, and if you don't find it in the same chest and you load up the same seed, you'll eventually get it and you'll eventually have a spawn which allows you to live your survival entirely in the Nether, sometimes with a few little extras to help you. If you want though, there's some lava here to immediately dispose of those things if you don't feel like they're handy to you. I mean, it hurts me to do, but some people might be like that. If you want to survive exclusively in the Nether, this is your seed. And let me tell you, the reason we're focusing so much on the Nether today is because as an overworld seed, this seed is okay. It has some things that are interesting, but as a Nether seed, it is fascinating. There are so many unique things about this Nether, not least including the fact that, by the way, we spawn underground, right? It seems like a real rough patch for our Nether experience, but all you need to do is you need to get past this lava, which I admit is a little bit hard, get past this magma as well, which is also potentially some hard, go through a Nether cave. That's right, you spawn in a Nether cave. It's the Nether update mixed with a cave update. You get to experience the best of both worlds in that way, but if you find your way out of it just over here, then you'll find the rest of the Nether experience that you can live and that you can try and survive. And again, this Nether is a very great one. Even if you don't intend on going straight to the Nether, this seed is really worth going to just for the high quality things you're gonna find over here. And allow me to explain, because this is Seed Sunday, the weekly series where I show you seeds that are particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way for Minecraft, and this is a 1.16 seed that you're going to want to check out if you have the beta right now, and if you don't, then as soon as the full update comes out, because the full update is very close to completion. And let me tell you, there are some very unique things about this, not least the fact that, by the way, just let me mention, this is where you pop out into the Nether. That is the nearest Nether fortress. It's a really close one to spawn, but the way you get there is such a fascinating journey. Again, like if you want the full survival experience, it's a really fun one, because again, what you have to do is you go up here, you go along this, and you're going along a one thick piece of netherrack where ghast can spawn. It's a super nerve-wracking journey, but it will get you to your Nether fortress. And again, what an odd Nether fortress it is. There are so many things about this that make it unique that I'm sure you're spotting immediately. I mean, one is the fact that it just has like a 4-directional thing going off to nowhere here, kind of tempting you to finish the Nether fortress yourself, something you totally could do if you wanted to. But more importantly than that, it's a Nether fortress which spawned in the middle of a basalt delta biome. In fact, because it spawned right here, it seems to have cut off the basalt deltas and led to a very strange situation, where as you can see, not only is the fortress mildly cut off, but the basalt deltas is much smaller than normal, which is actually great. The basalt deltas is one of Minecraft's most interesting biomes, but the biggest problem is that it can be big, it can be hazy, and spawning all the magma cubes in is annoying when it's huge. But this is a tiny basalt deltas biome as far as Minecraft goes, I would say, because you can see how it only really covers a little bit of this mountain right up here, and then it covers a little bit of the ground down there, and that means you can get the best of the basalt deltas, the interesting experience, the particle effects, etc. And most importantly of all, you can get cobblestone, or black stone as it is in the Nether. You can get your basalt, which is a pretty block, I think a lot of people agree, and you can get it in decent quantities next to your Nether fortress, which is of course great because while you're here, you can pick up some wither skeletons, swords, you can pick up some blaze rods, etc, etc. But the interesting thing is not just how the Nether fortress cuts off the basalt deltas, but also how the basalt deltas cuts off the the Nether Fortress. Places like this blaze spawner have magma and lava around them, which, I mean, looks interesting, but like, that's not so unique if you've never thought about it too much before. But something you'll definitely agree is very strange is when we go further in here, you'll see how some of the Nether Fortress floor is literally replaced with those, making it an extra scary, extra spooky, extra challenging Nether Fortress indeed. You can see how it even blocks off some of the walls in places in ways that are just fascinating to see with your own eyes. And I'd say that's not the only way this Nether Fortress is interesting. I mean, the fact that it has so many of these endings, like, again, this is what the Nether Fortress does when it wants to end, but the fact that it has so many of them, there's another 3 there, there's another 3 here, there's another few over there, it has so many of them, in fact, that some of them don't even properly end. So here's an ending of a fortress that actually allows you to jump straight from here to another part of it. Super interesting in my opinion. But also, here are 2 parts that clearly aren't meant to be linked, they just accidentally are. One part of the Nether Fortress is cutting off another part, and it means you can go from the kind of outside area, Nether Fortress, to the kind of inside area one that maybe some people prefer. The story's the same over here. This is like another end that's meant to be at the other side, but because it looped round on itself, you can go through here, you can go through a huge maze of these things, which I always find interesting. Like, wait, so you can go through here and there's more Nether Fortress. Again, it's very confusing to some people, but the key thing to note is that you can still find all the normal things in here, including Nether warts in chests, which is actually one of the worst loot drops you can get. You can get diamonds, you can get gold, you can get lots of interesting things like this. I mean, I'm sure I don't need to tell you that, like, hey, did you know Nether Fortresses have chests, and those chests can contain pretty darn good things, and also Nether warts. So yeah, this is the Nether Fortress. It's pretty great, but bear in mind, I mentioned how this isn't a basalt deltas, a very interesting mix if you've never experienced this in Minecraft, and a lot of you won't have, but it gets better than this, because interesting Nether Fortress, sure, but bear in mind, there are 4 great Minecraft biomes in the Nether, right? I mean, there's 5, but no one likes the Soul Sand Valley, so there's 4 great Minecraft biomes in the Nether. We have the basalt deltas, some would argue. You don't want it everywhere, but you definitely want it. There's the Crimson Forest, there's the, there's the Warp Forest, of course, the 2 types of forest, and there is the Nether Wastes. All 4 of these biomes, as you can see up here, actually will go together super closely. Look at this. Within just a 50-block walk, you can go across all 4 of the good Minecraft biomes. That's amazing. You can get your wood that you're going to need desperately up here. You can get your warp wood that you might want just to make a nicer house up here. You can get all these things, obviously there's access to food over here. There's access to the things over there. I made a whole video about surviving in the Nether. We won't dive too much into that again right here. So what we'll instead say is just that, like, yeah, this is a really, really cool Nether spawn because you have access to all the places you'd want in a very interesting format too. This isn't your normal Crimson Forest. I mean, the way it's like spawning on these weird islands, like look at this island right here, for instance. I mean, the way it's spawning on these islands should say that by itself. Look at this island up here. It's mostly red with a bit of blue. Look at this island down there. It's mostly red with a little bit of blue again. Same over here. You can see how we're getting weird mixtures of the 2 biomes we really shouldn't get. And by the way, did you spot that behind me? That's right. It also will lead you directly into another place where you can find piglins, because Crimson Forests are the best place, of course. The second best place, or arguably just as good a place, you could say, is the Piglin Bastion. Here is a Piglin Bastion. As you can see, a huge Piglin Bastion too, because it combines 2 of the structures together. This is obviously a super terrifying one, because it's directly above lava, so be warned, if you don't have gold armor, they will knock you straight into the sea of lava. But it's also a very, very, good one in terms of getting your loot. Wait, that's an empty chest. That's a weird bug. But yeah, this is a great place to get loot, a great place to get hoglins, a great place to do your trading, and on top of that, it's a great place just to, like raid if you want to get some bricks, if you want to get some blackstone, if you want to get some basalt, and you don't want to go to the basalt deltas, you've got a second option right here, which is super nice. And the fact that all of these disconnected islands lead to it, it just inspires me like, you know what, you need to make a Nether bridge. All of these little disconnected islands that are from different biomes, if you bridge them together, you can make an amazing survival world where you're in charge of the terrain, but yet you still have access to the different benefits of the different biomes. Over on this island, you'd have lots of piglins spawning. On this island, you'd have enderman spawning. On that island over there, you'd get the kind of weird, hazy, effects if you make one over here. The fact that you get all of these benefits together is super unique and super great in my opinion. To bring this back to where it all started though, I just want to kind of finish up and mention that yeah, this is a Nether seed with a difference. This is a seed that lets you go to the Nether, which is super unique by itself, but once you get to the Nether, you're not going to have your standard typical survival experience, and if that's what you want from a Nether, if you want to have to struggle and to, like jump around and to deal with all the difficulties in getting to your first trees, if you want to struggle with the fact that this is a very lava sea heavy seed. Obviously, there's always a lava sea at Y32 in Minecraft. That's just a thing that exists. 31, if I'm not mistaken. Although that's a thing you're going to find in every world. This world has very little terrain and instead focuses mostly on islands, which obviously is a challenge on some way. But if you think about it another way, because, you know, like, obviously I like the challenge personally, maybe you do too. This is kind of an experience with, you know, again, it has the cave thing, of course, going for it, but also this is kind of an experience for, like, the Aether, but in the Nether for Minecraft. You have floating biomes, and if you fall down from those biomes, you have instant death. Good luck surviving this, unless you have a fire potion you trade from a, you know, from a zombie from a piglin, I should say. Unless you have a fire potion or something like that, falling down means death, kind of like it would in the Aether. The truth is, this seed is really, you know, even though it's a great Nether seed, the thing that makes it so interesting is not the features themselves, but the fact that it's all just above this huge pit of lava, something that is terrifying in normal times, but as a Nether update thing, as an opportunity to make a house and play an intense survival, I think it's a great thing, and it's something that makes me wonder, you know what, unless we find a better seed between now and the release, maybe we should do a Nether only survival on this seed, because it's one of the very few that does give you that opportunity to do that and to really struggle to have to do it as well. It's not an easy Nether seed that throws it all to you. It's a seed where you get to do that and where you get to build your own bridges and make your own world, and I feel like being in charge of your own Minecraft world is what the game is all about. Maybe you disagree, but if you do, totally let me know. For now, I hope you all enjoyed this video regardless. I think it is a crazy interesting one with so many interesting little bits and pieces that just make for a great little challenge if you so want it. And if you do, then the seed was in the start of the video. Because we're in a beta, it's at the top of the screen right now. And I hope that this survival challenge, or many of the other ones, encourage you to realize that you're not Minecraft. You know, if you ever, you know, feel like you're bored of it, the reality is that there are a trillion challenges you can try. If you're not challenging yourself at anything, you can easily get bored of it. But if you, you know, particularly 1.16 coming up, a lot of people are going to be doing some form of live in the Nether challenge. This is an opportunity to do that without having to use commands, without having to use cheats. And if you want to do it the hard way as opposed to the easy way, this is definitely the more fun version of that, in my opinion. And that's why it's probably the version we'll be doing if we do any version on this channel. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. You can like it if you did like it. You can share it if you really liked it. And you can subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos just like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you for anyone who does choose to subscribe and see more of these videos, because that's obviously something that helps this channel sustain itself. And thank you for watching, because I'll see you next time. Goodbye.